The state offers school districts a deal to get students back in the classroom sooner. What's being offered and the incentive for districts to meet the deadline.
Hundreds of thousands of new San Diegans are now eligible to get the vaccine. How one restaurant owner is helping its employees make sure they get theirs.
A group of neighbors in Claremont coming together over a common hobby. In a story that's positively San Diego, how one woman has managed to inspire her entire neighborhood simply by riding her bike.
ABC 10 News at 6 starts now.
Once you build trust, then we will start to see a cadence of reopening across the spectrum.
Governor Gavin Newsom hopes that trust will come from families across the state. Today, he announced a deal that offers cash to school districts that get their youngest students back in the class by the end of the month. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Lindsay Pena. Steve is off tonight. ABC 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco shows us how the plan stops short of forcing schools to reopen.
It has been nearly a year since most students in California public schools have been in class. Monday, Governor Gavin Newsom announced a deal with lawmakers that he believes will get the youngest kids back in school faster.
We expect that all of our TK to 2 classrooms open within the next month. We want to see more happen beyond that for unified. Going into red tiers, it's TK to 6. And it's a commitment to 1 grade in middle and high school.
Districts that meet those requirements by March 31st could get some of the $6.6 billion set aside from the state.
Back to school. Back to school.
Leslie Hoffmeister and other San Diego Unified parents have been pushing for schools to reopen since the fall.
It really falls short in requiring that schools open 5 days a week for in-person instruction.
San Diego Unified and its teachers union already set an opening date for April 12th, provided the county is back in the red tier and teachers are fully vaccinated. It's an agreement teacher Matthew Schneck supports.
My biggest worry is, are we going to be losing money because we chose to create a plan that will allow us to open safely? And is that really fair to our students?
For districts that don't meet the governor's deadline, the amount of money that they can get will go down 1% a day starting April 1st. Hoffmeister says the plan is too little, far too late.
I think that's a failure on his part as the governor of this state to allow for the harm to continue to our students and families.
COVID-19 testing would be required for schools in the purple tier unless they already are open or have a plan to reopen in March. The plan does not require staff to be vaccinated, but the governor says teachers should be partially vaccinated by April 1st. Rachel Bianco, ABC 10 News.
The deal also requires districts to bring back cohorts of the most vulnerable students, including homeless and foster youth, English learners, and those without access to the internet. San Diego County's COVID numbers have come a long way in a short time. Today, our 14-day rolling average for positive cases is 4%. It was double that number just a month ago. There were 269 new cases reported today. About 260,000 San Diegans have had COVID since the pandemic began. And as is normal for a Monday, the county didn't report any new deaths.
Millions of Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 vaccine doses are now headed to different parts of the country. The vaccine received emergency use authorization by the FDA over the weekend. It's been found to be 85% effective at preventing severe illness, hospitalization, and death. We spoke with a doctor at Kaiser Permanente who called the new option a game changer.
You no longer need to have what's called a cold chain storage, where every step of the way it needs to be at a certain temperature. Every single office, every single clinics that have a refrigerator can be a point, a source where anybody can get vaccinated.
The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is also given in a single dose instead of 2. The county says it doesn't know when shipments will arrive locally. Governor Gavin Newsom says the state could see more than 300,000 doses by the end of the week.
The latest phase of the county's vaccine rollout is now moving forward with expanded eligibility, which includes members of law enforcement. ABC 10 News anchor Vanessa Van Hefty explains how Scripps Health is getting shots in the arms of San Diego officers and deputies.
This was dining pre-COVID on Harbor Island. Now, some promising news for restaurants crippled by COVID.
We're super excited that we are able to get the vaccine now for those of us that are restaurant workers.
Jeff Petroff manages Island Prime, Sea Level, and Costera on Harbor Island. He's getting vaccinated tomorrow and is paying all staff up to 4 hours to take the time to get vaccinated. On Saturday, Phase 1B opened. 12 million people qualifying in California, more than 500,000 in San Diego County alone. Along with restaurant workers, it includes food and ag personnel. Workers at the strawberry fields rolled up their sleeves on Saturday in Carlsbad. Also, grocery store workers, anyone in education, and law enforcement are also eligible. We saw officers getting vaccinated first thing Monday morning at Scripps La Jolla. These syringes set aside for several hundred doses for law enforcement members and their support staffers.
We're in the community every day, not only for our own risk, but the risk that we pose to the public.
Just got off of work the night shift all night, driving down here. It's good not to have to get out, find a building to go into, just pull into my car, stay in it, get the vaccine, and when my waiting time is up, just be able to get on my way.
While the vaccines are available for these groups, county leaders are asking for patience, saying it could take weeks for everyone to get a shot who signed up. Petroff says he's hoping this week Governor Newsom will also allow some level of indoor dining, thanking the community for helping them weather this storm.
The biggest thing is, honestly, thanking San Diego for putting trust and faith in us.
Vanessa Van Hefty, ABC 10 News.
Tonight, the county says that just over 10% of San Diegans have been fully vaccinated against the virus. In all, nearly 1 million doses have been administered locally. We do know there are a lot of questions and different experiences with the vaccine rollout. Our ABC 10 News in-depth team is committed to tracking down answers and sharing your stories. Just send us an email to tips@10news.com.
A reminder that the vaccine superstation at Petco Park is closed through tomorrow. The site has been closed since Saturday because of a nationwide shortage of the Moderna vaccine. That's the only vaccine offered at Petco Park. Anyone whose appointment was affected should already have been notified to reschedule. The other superstations around the county were not affected by that shortage. The San Diego American Indian Health Center is hosting a vaccination event this Wednesday. The center says highest priority will be given to people in the Native community. They'll also be offered to essential workers, people 55 and older, and anyone ages 18 to 54 with an underlying health condition. Appointments need to be made with the center ahead of time, and the event is this Wednesday from 9 to 1. It's at the American Indian Health Center on First Avenue in Bankers Hill.
This year's Comic-Con is once again going virtual, but there is a chance an in-person convention could happen in the fall. The pandemic forced last year's Comic-Con to be entirely virtual. Organizers say the Comic-Con at Home online event will be back again July 23rd through the 25th. But they say there could also be a smaller in-person 3-day convention held in November.
We'll probably still elbow meet, and we may be wearing masks, but at least we'll be able to see each other in person.
Organizers say anyone who bought badges for last year's convention and had them rolled over to this year will again have them rolled over into 2022.
Investigators are working to figure out what caused this cement truck to overturn in Spring Valley today. The crash happened around 11 o'clock this morning. CHP officers say the truck driver was taking the Spring Street on-ramp to eastbound 94 when he lost control and rolled the truck. Firefighters say they had to pop out the windshield to free the driver. That driver was taken to the hospital with minor head injuries. CHP says there was a small fuel spill, which is being cleaned up by the company that owns the truck.
County leaders are looking to commit millions of dollars to cleaning up the Monte River Valley in Lakeside. The board voted to buy nearly 100 acres of land there last month. Now the county wants to spend $6 million cleaning it up. The money would also cover repairs and restoration work. Before it was bought by the county, there were concerns from neighbors that the El Monte River Valley would be turned into a sand mine. The county is accepting applications for its Citizen Law Enforcement Review Board. The board investigates citizen complaints against sheriff's deputies and probation officers. The board is made up of 5 districts, 2 members from each. A vacancy is opening in District 1 on July 1st. That covers Coronado, National City, and the South Bay. To qualify, you must be a registered voter in San Diego County, live in District 1, and you currently cannot be a sworn law enforcement officer. Applications are open until April 2nd.